Hi, it's Jerry with I Love RV Life. Today I want to share a very simple project with you, but it's probably one of the more important devices that you can have inside your RV, and it is your propane detector. Come on, let me show you how to install it. Hi, it's Jerry. A couple weeks ago, Joan and I were up in the mountains, and early one morning I hear beep, beep. It just woke me up from a beauty rest, and it was like, what's going on? So the first thing I thought, oh, I know I just replaced the batteries in the carbon monoxide detector. I looked, it was fine. Beep, it's still going on. I look at the smoke alarm, it's fine. I come downstairs, I'm looking everywhere, I can't find this thing. Finally, I just stop and I look down in the floor, and the propane detector is blinking real slow, beep, beep, and it hit me. My propane detector's gone bad. It was a different alarm than if you've ever set off your propane detector, like spraying some air freshener or something nearby it. That will trigger one. And I knew it wasn't a propane leak. I got down on my knees, looked at it, and sure enough, the indicator light that it had gone bad was blinking, and about every minute I was getting that beeping, annoying sound. So it was time to change it out. You know, we've had this camper since Labor Day of 2014. And then I realized, these propane detectors are only good for about 5 years. I should have already changed this thing out. More than likely, it was, dying a slow death and it needed to go. So I start the search for a new one. Here's what my current propane detector looks like. And you'll see here, it's just a very simple inside the wall. It's not hard, it's just 2 wires that go to it. I'll show you that in just a second. Now the search was on for finding a propane detector that would fit in this spot. Let me share this with you. There's no such thing as a standard propane detector in the RV industry. Of course, why would there be anything that's standard, right? And I have looked, I cannot find a direct replacement for this to save my life. I found them wider, I found them taller, I found big box looking things. I found them from prices in the $100+ to $20, $30, where everybody on Amazon went, this thing stinks, don't buy it. So, I wasn't going to go that route. I really wanted to find something that had very high ratings, and the price swings were everywhere for even the one that I did find. Let me show you the one that I've got. The one that I purchased is this Safety Alert. It's a 20 series mini propane alarm. You see these in tons and tons of RVs. This is a very, very common unit. I found the prices ranged, I looked at Amazon, the e-trailers, Walmart. It is not a direct replacement for what I'm putting in. Of course it isn't. Why would anything in an RV be a direct replacement, right? I mean, that's the challenge of finding things that will fit, especially on a unit that is, getting in the 5, 6, 7-year-old range, just like ours is doing here. So I had to find something that would work. Ended up I'm making a mounting plate for this. I'll show you what I've done. This is just a little piece of thin aluminum. I've always got little pieces of metal and things like this, plexiglass, those types of things. For specific projects, I'm always doing something. But this is just a little piece of aluminum. I painted it flat black, drilled some holes for the mounting plate and so forth. And I'm going to place this up against the cabinet and then mount the unit to the outside. Now, these are inexpensive. Like I said, this one is in the mid $50 range. They go up from there depending on if you've got the big holes that you're trying to find. You can do searches and see what your direct replacements are if you've got those bigger units. Let's get down in the floor and let me show you what I've got to do to replace ours. You'll see here that the tools required are pretty basic. Just a screwdriver to take the screws out. It's not a whole lot to this. And we'll get this installed. And I've already cut one of the wires from this just to and this is, of course, this is fused. I could have pulled the fuse out of it. I'm glad they did that. But I'm going to take this now, and I'm already looking here, the red wire. These units are polarity sensitive, so this is going to be your positive, this is going to be your ground, red positive, this is ground. So I can see here that this, this fuse that's on this one is going to be my power side. So we'll cut that, and we'll cut that. Next thing I'm going to do is just strip this back. Just use a little basic stripper here. A little basic stripper here. And I'm going to use a crimp connector. It's a little different style than what they've got on this older unit. These are crimp connectors that you see here, but what I'm using is just something, it's still a crimp connector, but it's just a little different style. Okay, so I've got this placed on here. Now, the next thing I've got to do is mount this mounting plate of the new unit to this. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. So this is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to take this unit here out. It's got a little small mounting plate here on the back. And I pre-drilled everything here just so that I wouldn't have to fool with it. And there is a front and a back to this that you'll notice. And I went ahead and pre-drilled this. Now, what I'm going to use instead of screws, and I could use screws on this, it's no problem, but I wanted to make sure I had a good tight fit. I'm going to use just pop rivets. And again, I pre-drilled this. So this is just some little basic pop rivets that I'm going to use here. I'll try to do this and stay within the camera here. And these little pop rivets are perfect for little projects like this. And just as the name implies, they just pop in. That's it. So there's the first one. Here's the second one. Because I'm doing this two-handed, I've got to choke up on it a little bit, but it's no big deal. And then it gets to a breaking point. Once it gets tight, there we go. So that's got that. Now the other thing that I'm going to do, just to give this wire a little extra protection, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on it just so that it doesn't get cut by the aluminum as we bounce down the road. So I'm just going to take just a little bit of tape here. Put around these wires. Alright. So that'll give me a little bit more protection around the wires. And I'll put them through here. And then you'll notice these little catches here will slide right back on top of that. So let's make sure that's going to happen the way it's supposed to. Okay, so we've got it mounted on here. We're in good shape. Pretty simple. All right, let's install it. Before I get started, I'm just going to double check and just to make sure my voltage is right, even though I know the other unit was working. I'm going to take my voltmeter here and just stick in here and make sure that I'm getting 13 volts, 13 and a half volts, and that's what's going to be coming out of my charger. Okay, we're good. Let's get this all clamped up. Take just a minute here to screw it together. I'll take the long one here first. And after you do this, always give them a good tug and make sure they're in. Okay, just stick my wires back in here. This is already blinking. Green on. Can you see that? Yay. So we are being protected again. Stuff those wires in there. And again, I couldn't find a direct replacement. I wish I could have. So I am just going to do it like so. And don't over tighten this in this thin wood here. I'm going to make sure that it's nice and level. I don't want it to be crooked and look all hinky. Nice and straight. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm looking here, just a couple things that, it says on the front of it. You never paint it. Something else, you never want to use any type of a harsh chemical on it. Chemicals can get inside of it and damage it. And again, this basically says, replace it in 5 years. So, that's not a bad thing to do. And that's what you never want to hear. But if you do, you need to get out of the camper and turn your propane off. All right, how about that? That's pretty easy, wasn't it? Very, very, very simple project. A couple screws and 2 wires to hook up. That was it. Now for me, I did have to adapt. I could not find a direct replacement. I don't think the unit that I have, I couldn't find it anywhere. I tried Amazon, I tried Walmart, online, I tried eTrailer. I just couldn't find the direct replacement. And this is close enough. It does stick out a little bit further, but that doesn't wig me out. The functionality is exactly what I had before. It's a propane detector. It's not that sophisticated. So it's very simple to install. You can more than likely do it yourself. If you're handy with a screwdriver and you can cut 2 wires, twist them together and put a little connector on the end, you can fix this. And it's not like working with household current, 120 volt. This is 12 volt. So, you don't have the shock hazard that you would have with 120 volt. Look, if this stuff still wigs you out, you can probably go to a repair place and pay them the couple $100s to put in a $50 piece of equipment, making the assumption they don't have to do modifications and run up a lot of extra cost on you as well, which they will undoubtedly do. Very simple install for Joan and I to be safe, and for you to be safe too. Look, we made a mistake. I let this go past the 5-year expiration date. Fortunately, my unit beeped and let me know that it had gone bad. I was very fortunate that that unit did that. Not all of them do that. So if you got a new RV that's 5 years old, bought it new and it's 5 years old, change that propane detector. If you have an older unit and you have no idea when that propane unit, detector unit, what its date is on it, you can usually take them out of the wall, or somewhere on it there's going to be a date of manufacture. When you and you look at that, add 5 years to it, and more than likely, if you've never replaced it, probably the previous owner never had as well, and you probably are not protected from propane. Even though you press it and it beeps, it doesn't necessarily mean that the detector is working, so be aware. A couple other things: never paint over one, never take any harsh chemicals, any chemicals of any fashion, and wiping these down that can damage the sensor. If it's dusty, take a paper towel, wipe it off, and be done with it. So never do that. You don't want to damage those very sensitive sensors that is sniffing that propane. You don't want to do that either. I hope you found this project very, very simple and very easy for something that you can do. I want you to be safe, just like Joan and I want to be safe. Because I hope we have the opportunity to see you in our travels. Look, if you've never subscribed to our videos and you're seeing our channel for the first time, click that. A lot of travel, a lot of helpful aids, fun places that we go and we share. It's a very positive channel. We work very hard to keep it very positive. If you found this video helpful, hit the little like button, and I would appreciate that as well. Never ask for that. That's very rare, but you know, these little helpful videos are out there to help someone else, so let's do what we can to promote it and let other people be able to find these things, because I love doing this just as much, you got it, as I love RV life. See you in our travels.